Hi, welcome to Charlie in the Kitchen. This is the first episode of me teaching you how to cook. A lot of my friends have said, can you teach me how to cook? I love what you cook, can I have the recipe? And I've always wanted to do a cooking class, but I've never had the chance. Now that we're in quarantine and I'm home 24/7, I thought this is the best time to start something like this. My love of Filipino food started when I first met Dennis, my husband. He's Filipino and his mother would come and visit, and she would make these wonderful dishes that smelled amazing. So I would kind of look over her shoulder. After a couple of years, she decided to share some of her recipes. When she shared her recipes though, I realized she wasn't always sharing everything of the recipe, and it took a couple of years before I was able to figure out everything that went into some of her dishes. Today I'm going to be cooking pork adobo. Pork adobo is the national dish of the Philippines, and it happens to be one of my husband's favorite dishes. An interesting thing about Filipino food is it's made with simple ingredients that impart a lot of flavor. So we're going to start with the boneless country-style ribs that I've already cut into big chunks. We're going to use garlic. Today I'm using the minced garlic that you buy in the grocery store. Often I use fresh garlic, but this is what I happen to have on hand. A couple of bay leaves, some peppercorns, our secret ingredient, the brown sugar. I'm going to use some vinegar, some low sodium soy sauce. I prefer low sodium because this can turn into a very salty dish if you're not careful, and a little bit of water. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is take the pork and add it to a Dutch oven. I'm using about 3 pounds of pork today. That's quite a bit, but we want to have leftovers. Once you do that, you just add the garlic. This is the garlic. Add that in. Next, we're going to add the bay leaves. I'm using about 2 and another little piece of bay leaf. Next, we're going to sprinkle in the peppercorns. And last, we're going to add that secret ingredient, the brown sugar. So an interesting thing about the brown sugar is I was talking about Dennis's mother showing me how to cook adobo. I'd say probably the first 2 years that she cooked it, I never saw her add the brown sugar. And one time I happened to notice she's putting brown sugar into the adobo, and I said, what are you doing that for? And she said, oh, I always add it. It wasn't on the recipe she had given me, and it wasn't something I had ever seen until then. But now I know the sweetness of the brown sugar really helps the adobo to taste better. Okay, the last 3 ingredients. I have 2 cups of water in a measuring cup here, and I want to do 4 cups all together. So to my 2 cups of water, I'm just going to add some vinegar. And here's where it gets interesting. You have to kind of do trial and error. I'm adding about a cup of vinegar, and then I'm going to add about a cup of soy sauce. Now again, I'm using low sodium soy sauce, so it's not going to taste so salty. If I were going to use a full sodium soy sauce, I would definitely not add a whole cup. I would probably only do about half a cup, and either increase the water or the vinegar based on how vinegary I like the flavor. But basically you want to get about, I'm a little short here, you want to get about to 4 cups of liquid. It's okay if it's a little more or a little less, and just add that into the pot. And that's all you have to do for the next 2.5 hours. So put the lid on and start cooking at about medium heat, medium low heat for 2.5 hours. Okay, I'm going to take a couple of pieces of the meat, lay them on the rice. Ooh, this smells so delicious. And the best part is the juice. Drizzle some of the juice. And that's my version of Filipino pork adobo. The recipe's in the comments. Let me know what you think. And if there's something you'd like to learn how to cook, let me know that also. And maybe you can be invited over as a special guest while I cook live. I'll see you next time on Charlie in the Kitchen.